You're listening to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, the show that proves no one stumbles upon success ever. With your host, Lou Need. Every Mondays and Thursdays, we deliver cold hard evidence behind the power of a robust morning routine. Get ready to be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Looney Lewis, and today I have a surprise for you. There have been a huge demand to get this man on the show. So many people asked me to interview him, so I had to get him to come on the show. Finally, you have heard a lot about him because I speak so highly of this man. I have tremendous respect for him. I think I might even love him. What am I saying? Of course, I love him. After all, he did put a ring on it. Yes, morning enthusiasts, I want to introduce an amazing human being to the show, my very own fiance, Benga Adeeko. Benga, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for the very warm intro. I like that.
My pleasure. So let me give the audience a little bit about your background. See, Benga and his team are on a mission to restoring hope in those with abnormal gait. What is abnormal gait, you may ask? You see, abnormal gait is when a person is unable to walk in the usual way, just the basic day-to-day mobility. This may be due to injuries, underlying conditions, or problems with the legs and feet. Today's guest, as I told you, he is going to talk to us about his company, the NewGait, and how he is restoring hope. Benga is the co-founder of Elite Athlete Products, a sports performance equipment company. He had the passion and know-how to develop the Speedmaker, which is a training device used by athletes to increase strength and power in the hip extensors. The application of the Speedmaker in the healthcare industry has led to the development of the NewGait, an assistive mobility aid device. Benga, tell us about the NewGait.
Yes. So again, thanks for the intro. And as you alluded to, the NewGait, it was an accident. It started off as a different product, a product called the Speedmaker. And I have a background in engineering, as you mentioned as well. And I also ran track and field through college. And when I moved to San Diego, I really wanted to combine the two interests that I had, engineering and track and field, and use that to develop some sort of product to help the children that I was coaching. I was a part-time youth track coach as well. And so I developed a harness system that could be used to help athletes run faster, help them to train to run faster. And so this product got into the hands of a physical therapist up in Michigan. And she thought, how else can I use this product made for athletes in my practice? And she started using it on patients who had gait abnormalities. And as it started helping patient after patient, as a company, we saw the impacts it was having and decided to completely pivot and focus on the healthcare space.
And how long ago did that change happen?
The very first patient to use it, that was in 2016. And then in mid-2017, that's when we decided to make a company change and completely pivot towards this new product, NewGait.
Wow, that is fantastic. You're not only adding value, but you're restoring hope in people who are unable to walk, who's been told that they're not able to they'll never walk again. How has that transition been for you as an entrepreneur?
Yes. So, my initial passion for developing the product was for the speed product because I had that track and field background. But after hearing the countless stories of patients who have been helped by this product, it was extremely moving. Mm-hmm. The very first patient who used it, her name is Emily DeVoe, and she had fallen from a ladder, shattered a vertebrae in her spine. And after surgery, her doctor told her she's never going to walk again. never going to run again.
Wow.
Now, she goes to physical therapy and she's able to walk with 2 canes, and she kind of plateaued in physical therapy. And then this is where her physical therapist, Kim Springer, got the device. At the time it was the Speed Maker, and started using it on her. And it had immediate benefits for Emily. And she went from plateauing in physical therapy and, walking around with 2 canes to eventually 6 months later running in a 5K race.
Wow.
With the device on.
Wow. That is phenomenal.
Yeah. So, if that doesn't move you and really motivate you to continue doing that, I don't know what will. And
right.
So that was really our motivation and our passion for continuing down this path and with this product.
And it sounds like it is super rewarding.
Extremely. I've been up to Michigan where we have our clinical team. I've been up there a few times, and every time I'm there, I'm able to meet with patients, new patients who are using it. And I get countless thank yous and people crying because of the impact that it's had. Mm-hmm. We talk about restoring hope, and that's exactly what we're doing, because for some of these people, walking is much more than just being able to go from point A to point B, but it's the difference between, being independent, being able to just go to your backyard and garden or play with your grandchildren. It means so much more than just, a numerical value of, okay, you can walk, 1.2 meters per second or whatever that is.
Right. The things that we take for granted, right? The everyday task, being able to put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. As an able-bodied person, I know I do. I take it for granted that I'm able to just wake up and get up, stand on my 2 feet and walk, or even just climb downstairs, walk upstairs. That is, something that you don't think about and you don't have to think about. Mm-hmm. But for a lot of people out there, they don't have that luxury. They either experience a lot of pain when they walk, or it's extremely difficult for them, or they have to really focus their attention on walking.
Right. So we know the process of walking and balance are intricate movements, right? They rely on proper functioning from several areas of the body. So tell us, how is the NewGait treating gait and balance problems?
Yeah. So the NewGait, it consists of a variety of different components. There's a shoulder harness, a waist belt, and a variety of different leg or limb straps. And those are connected using these pieces we call anchors, which help us attach elastic tubing or elastic bands to various parts of the components. Now, all of that helps to do 3 main things for a patient using the NewGait. So the tension of the elastic bands helps to improve muscular strength by providing resistance. They also help improve neuromuscular re-education, which is effectively muscle memory. So, if you're an athlete and you do any sort of sport, like, let's pick baseball, and just, swinging the bat and hitting the baseball, that motion for anyone who plays baseball is second nature. Mm-hmm. And that's because they have that muscle memory or that neuromuscular education to that particular swing. NewGait helps people put their limbs into proper positions so that they can repeatedly walk in a better gait pattern.
So the re-educating the muscle group is using their own body strength.
Yes. Yeah. So it using their mind or their neurons and then also their muscles. Mm-hmm. So making sure that connection between their brain and their muscles is not only sharp, but that it's repeated so that they remember the precise movement.
Wow.
And then lastly, NewGait helps to improve proprioception, which is effectively knowing where your limbs exist in space. And that's something that folks who have any sort of neuromuscular disease or disorder, they have difficulty with.
Yeah. And I realize not only that too, but you also are helping and treating the elderly, right?
Correct. Yes. So the NewGait helps a wide variety of patient populations. So regardless of age as well. So from neurological to orthopedic, it helps a wide variety of different types of patients.
Yeah. My grandpa, I can recall, was diabetic and was falling all the time. And he was falling in the bathroom. He was falling at church. And then one time he actually fell and fractured his nose. So I know for older adults, gait and balance problems causes them to fall. And this can lead to injuries,
Yep.
loss of independence, and as you mentioned, and a change in lifestyle altogether, right? In some cases, falls can be fatal. So walk us through how the NewGait is treating balance problems in the elderly population.
So in addition to, traditional gait parameters like, walking speed and step length, it has been shown to improve balance and gait symmetry.
Okay.
So we teamed up with Northern Michigan University, and they performed a pilot study for us on using those who had multiple sclerosis. And the NewGait was shown to improve balance in those who participated in the study, as well as step length and walking speed.
I actually have a quote. I was looking you up. I know you very well, but I've heard some really great stories. And one of them was from a patient who lives on a dairy farm. And I quote her, what her story was. She said, "My biggest goal was to run. And Dr. Koshia, my surgeon, said, 'You're never going to be able to chase cows again.'" And then she said to her surgeon, "I bet you I'm going to be running." And because of the NewGait, she has been able to walk and be running.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually Emily.
Oh,
that quote is from Emily. Yes. So, in addition to the NewGait, obviously her drive and determination was a huge factor in her recovery. And that's something that we see with a lot of our patients, is that, they have to have that drive and that determination to get better. And so Emily was the prime example of that. And, when you can pair a patient with drive and determination, as well as, a really great product that's going to help them get better, then you get results like what Emily got.
yeah. And you started working with the MS population once you started doing the research. How is that? How do you forecast, say, in the next 3 to 5 years? How is that going to help that population? Because it is restoring hope. It's really helping them, like people who has given up on this.
Yeah.
And to find your product and to be able to say, there is hope. There is a possibility. One day it's possible.
Yeah. So, right now we are a startup company. We're a smaller startup. And in the next 3 to 5 years, we really expect to scale up to not just even a national reach, but an international reach. And so as far as our U.S. market, we're focused on the neurological population. And so multiple sclerosis included in that, as well as spinal cord injuries and traumatic brain injuries and post-stroke. And so right out of the gate, we're going to be focused on that neuro population, but then also expand into, orthopedic conditions such as, hip replacements or knee replacements, ankle fractures, things like that.
I mean, I love this product. You have such a good niche. You're going deep and you're finding ways to actually add more value on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this aging population that we have, there are only going to be more and more people who need products like this. People are living longer. And they're wanting to do more longer. But at the same time, the rate of chronic diseases is increasing.
Right.
And so, when you have that, then, now you've got a lot of people who are being admitted to, rehab. They're falling, or, they're having strokes. They're having some sort of chronic disease that is affecting their gait. And so the number of rehab clinics is increasing quite a bit. And, obviously the number of elderly in the US is increasing. And so, yeah, we're going to be definitely here to stay, and there'll be a huge patient population that can benefit.
You'll be in high demand.
Exactly.
For a long time to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is fantastic. So I know you've been an entrepreneur for several years, and I'm curious, and I want you to share with the audience where did the drive come from to actually start your own business? Because just like myself, you weren't raised in that environment. You were told to go to school, get a good job, become an engineer, become a doctor, and you did just that. You became an engineer, making decent money, and then last year you left that all behind. How did that come about, becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I was raised to, get a good job and climb the corporate ladder, and then, eventually retire. Well, I got my first job out of college at a company in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And, I worked there for what was 2 years. But towards the end of it, I wasn't really liking what I was seeing or what I was doing. Company was laying people off. The company just wasn't doing well overall. So the culture changed. And so I said, well, let me get another job then. So I found a job out here in San Diego and got a new job. First couple months were great, but then it was the same thing. That new job started doing a lot of layoffs. Company culture started changing. And then, I started asking myself, maybe the answer isn't another job. Maybe I need to look at other options and, possibly look into entrepreneurship. And so then I started just consuming content. Entrepreneur on Fire by John Lee Dumas. That was the first podcast that I listened to ever. And it was really inspiring just hearing all of these different entrepreneurs, hearing their stories. And then you've got this podcast host who himself is now becoming an entrepreneur, just interviewing other entrepreneurs. And as you know, now he's widely successful. But, just after hearing all those stories, I really wanted to do something more, with my life, with what I was doing. And so that's kind of when I started really thinking, what do I love to do? I love engineering. I love track and field. And so I started coaching. And then after coaching, that's when I kind of saw like, okay, I want to combine engineering and track and field together. And that's how Speedmaker started. And so this all started back in 2015. And you're correct. It was just last April, that I ended up quitting my engineering job, decent paying engineering job, to pursue this passion of mine and going into full-time entrepreneurship. And so that's been an incredible journey thus far. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been a huge learning experience. I've got a company, I've got a team of multiple employees. And so it has been a learning experience. Let me tell you that. But every day I wake up, I know I'm working on what I want to work on and what I love. And I'm building my dream. Right. And so that is what really helps to drive me.
Man, that is truly inspiring. It really gives the rest of us hope to keep at it, to actually ask those defining questions like you did after that second encounter with that second company, right? You were like, maybe looking for another job is not the option. I mean, there's an alternative.
Yeah.
We fail sometimes to ask ourselves these hard questions because we're afraid of the answers.
Exactly.
We're afraid of doing the work. We're afraid of what we're going to hear because it's going to require us to find our purpose and actually be driven, let that wake us up every morning. So It sounds like you found your purpose, and you're like, I'm never looking back.
Yeah, I did. And entrepreneurship is not the easy way, and so it's much easier to just kind of sit back and go to a 9-to-5 job and collect a paycheck and just rinse and repeat and keep doing that. That's the easier path. Mm-hmm. And so it's not easy.
Right.
Being an entrepreneur is definitely not easy. So that's probably why a lot of people just don't do it.
Yeah. And if you had a piece of advice for them, what would it be? Because I know you mentioned you consumed a lot of content when you were starting off, because again, this is a foreign background for you. You didn't raise in this background. You had to learn along the way. You had to find mentors. You had to find the content. You had to find the information you need to actually get the ball rolling. So, what is a piece of advice for anyone who is, trying to make that leap?
Yeah, start off by just doing a side hustle. If you've got a steady job giving you a steady income, just start off by finding something that you love and, picking a potential money-making project and starting there. And, even before that, just start consuming content, whether it's podcasts or books. I do a lot of consuming content now with podcasts and audiobooks and physical books. And so that's always a great place to start because you get inspiration and knowledge from that. Yeah. And final piece of advice is just give it a go. Just start somewhere and then iterate from there.
Yeah. Got to take action.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I got to take the first step. Taking action will give you that confidence to take the next.
Exactly. But so many people just say, I wish I could do this, or I'm going to do this, as soon as this happens. And, as soon as the stars line up, then I'm going to take action. But the stars never line up. Mm-hmm. And you just have to go for it. You just got to take action.
Yeah. I know one thing for me is after I got my PhD, and it was right before I met you, because I graduated in 2015 and I met you the following year. And I know I didn't read for a whole year because I was done reading the dry book, the psychology book, the business books. I was just like, brain was fried, and I didn't read for about a year. And then I met you, and then you were so consistent with reading, and you were so consistent day in and day out that you had to read for half hour a day. You even have a timer that goes off to letting you know that the 30 minutes is over, and you would not miss it. Even on vacation, you would not miss it. And that really inspired me, just looking at your discipline. You've always been a very disciplined man, and just watching you move, it was just like, okay, well, I guess I should start picking a book and start reading. And I have to tell you, like, you got that fire started again in me to start reading. And now I consume content as well. And so I want to talk about your other disciplines. Babe, how do you get up, dress up, and show up? What's your morning routine like?
Yeah, well, I think I have an unfair advantage than most of your guests because I know about your Hit Savers app. And so I've been in the trenches with that. And so, yeah, I do a lot of the items that you mentioned in Hit Savers. But in specifically, I start off the morning with the morning cocktail. So I hydrate first thing in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I already have my pre-made cocktail of Himalayan salt and water on my bedside. So I do that. I have an affirmation app where I open up and read my affirmation for the day. Mm-hmm. And then I have a journaling app where I go in and do my morning gratitude journal. And then I do my heart rate exercise. So I just do some exercises to kind of, increase the heart rate. I do that for about 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then I do yoga for 10 to 15 minutes. And then at the end, I'll meditate for about a minute. And then once I'm all done with that, I make my bed and that is my morning routine.
Dang, morning enthusiasts. You heard it here first. This is Benga's morning routine. It is essentially the Hit Savers app that is getting ready to launch April 1st. And when you hear this podcast, it'll probably be launched the following week. And the beauty about your morning routine is that it's all encompassing. It includes everything. It gives you the mental stimulation you need. It gives you the physical activity you need. It gives you the opportunity to meditate, and then the opportunity to actually speak life unto yourself. You know, this affirmation is breathing life into you. So to help you run a team, you have a great team that you have to deal with. You are a CEO. You're running your own company.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to credit you with really helping me to build a robust morning routine, because before you, I didn't have a morning routine. I was like most people. I was getting up and, I'd hit snooze and then just kind of figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of the day. But really putting together a morning routine has been big. It's been big for me because it helps to just kind of calibrate myself for the day. And it gives me that routine.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, that kind of is like a breath of fresh air.
Right.
And so I know after I'm done with that, okay, now I'm ready to take on the world.
Yeah. And the world can bring whatever it wants because you've already taken care of yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
You are equipped for success.
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready for the world now.
Yeah.
After that morning routine.
Yeah. And you mentioned you had several different apps that you open up. And as I do right now myself, but what I've done is put everything in one app. We're talking about affirmation is on one app. Journaling is on one app. Exercising is on one app. Like I went all out.
Yeah, you got it all in there.
I did. 9 actionable items that you can do in 9 minutes if you want, a minute each, but you can devote the time, because once you start meditating and you reap the benefits of meditating, you realize like you don't just want to do it for 1 minute. You want to do it for 10 minutes because the more the better, because it transcends throughout the day where you're more calm. You're less prone to stress. And if there are stressors, you know how to be cool, calm, and collective and address it properly.
Yeah. That, and, I think exercise too, that's another one that helps me, especially doing it more than just a minute. If I can do just a few minutes of exercise in the morning, then that helps to get the blood pumping and just help clear my mind.
Yeah. Get the serotonin flowing, get the happy hormones flowing so that you have energy, because it's very hard to work. And I know you work long hours. Yeah, I know you're working, 10, 12 plus hour days. So it's hard if you don't get your exercise in throughout the day because you won't have the energy. Exercising gives you more energy.
Yeah, it does. It makes you feel a whole lot better.
Yeah, and it helps with mental clarity for better decision making. And of course, for everyone else, the perk is healthy weight. You get to lose weight. You get, that's a plus.
Yeah, you burn more calories. That's another benefit to it.
Yeah, tell me about your gratitude.
Yeah, so I've got a journal where I actually have created templates where I can just go into my journal first thing in the morning and click on my morning gratitude template, and I'll write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. First thing in the morning. That's my morning gratitude routine.
And how that helps you find more things to be grateful for throughout the day.
Yeah, it does. When you put yourself in that mindset of gratitude, it puts everything into perspective. When you're able to then sit down, think about all the good things that you have going on, it puts you in a better headspace. Yeah,
you don't have time to think about the negative things or things that are going wrong, because what you're thinking about, you will attract.
Yeah. So you want to think about the positive. You want to keep that top of mind.
Yeah.
Drown out the negative.
Yeah. Well put. Tell us, how can we connect with you?
Yes. So listeners can connect with me on my company's website, thenewgait.com. That's THENEWGAIT. Or emailing me directly, and that's Benga at thenewgate.com. And Benga is spelled BENGA.
Well, morning enthusiasts, you've heard it here first. This has been Benga Adeeko, and that will soon be my last name. It has a nice ring to it.
Yes, it does.
This has been Benga, and he really dropped some knowledge today. And I want a brief recap for the audience. Today we talked about how to make that leap from the 9 to 5 to finding your purpose and finding that what is it that you enjoy doing. And really what you've talked about, Benga, was asking those hard questions. What is the alternative to my norm? What is the alternative to the status quo? And how you pointed the fingers back at you and says, maybe I need to do something different than the what is presented. And so you asked that question, and you were able to couple your desire, what your degree, your skill set with what you're passionate about, which is running, which is athletes and engineering. And then you birth a phenomenal product that now is a rehab device, a therapy rehab device that's going to change, that is changing lives.
Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal how that came about. And it goes to show, like, once you find your purpose, you are out to be used. You're a vessel. Like, the Almighty is going to use you to add value to other people's lives. That is the whole point.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has a purpose in life. And so your job is to find out what that purpose is and make sure that you're fulfilling it. Yeah.
You don't need to know that every step of the way. It will be revealed to you, and it's in accordance. I really like your advice about starting a side hustle. Instead of jumping head first, get a side hustle so that you can learn some things along the way and consume a lot of content, whether it's a book, podcast, audiobook, whatever it is. Learn and grow so that you can learn about the field, become great at whatever niche you decide, or whatever you decide to do. And so it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. I thank you so much for coming on the show today.
All right. Thank you, Lynette.
Well, all right, morning enthusiasts, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you love the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes or Google Play. While you're at it, tell a friend about the show. Be sure to visit bestmorningroutineever.com and our Facebook group to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic free bonus content. Until next time,